People oftentimes ask me, what needs to be included in a strategic plan? Well, first of all, your mission statement. That's the one of the critical areas, and that's usually where it must start. In fact, it is where it must start. In other words, if you start planning facilities, let's say you get a planning event, and I've been to a lot of these, and somebody said, well, we just want to plan a new facility. And eventually you get down to the fact, well, what is this facility for? Well, it's enabling us to fulfill our mission. What is your mission? So you have to eventually go back to the mission. But you need to plan in the right direction, and you need to plan the right things. And so the things that I think are really important is, if in an ideal situation, is to look at what your outcomes are going to be, look at what your mission is to see if it's consistent with your outcomes, and then after you plan that, then you plan some of the strategic areas that basically are critical to the ability for that happening, which oftentimes won't be the things that you thought they were. The difference between good and greatness, interestingly enough, is free. A lot of organizations think, well, if I had this, then everything's going to be all right. No, it's not going to be all right. It's like a couple going to a marriage counselor and telling the marriage counselor that their real problem, the reason why they're going to face crisis and disaster and divorce and separation of children and so forth, is because we need a new house. And the counselor's saying, what? A new house? I mean, the same old people are going to go into the same new house, and what's going to change? And a lot of organizations, quite frankly, think that if they have a new building, if they have certain things that basically they can measure in terms of tangibility and dollar value, then everything's going to be all right. It's not. It's not. Some of the greatest and most successful organizations in the world are organizations that have the least, and yet they're having the most effect. And that's why the church, the underground church during the days of communism, quite frankly, was healthier than the church of today. They didn't have much, but they had what was important in order to be able to reach a generation.